Welcome to the special session of the Historic Area Commission meeting. It is Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. If we could start with each commissioner stating their name.
Michael Westerman.
Terry Hayward Olivas.
Kevin Wade.
Lisa Doak. Leila Herman, architect. So we are looking at revised plans for a new build at 105 Strand. And we have the applicants, Patrick Nell and Catherine Curran, present. If I would like to tell us a little bit about the changes. Start there.
Well, I don't know if you all knew that, he's the architect and my technical language is very limited, but you may not know about the helical pile situation that we had to, when we started when we got the soil survey. It turns out that the soil was not very barren, so we had to have the instructional engineers come in again. This was in September, I believe. And to do a helical pile survey. That was the recommendation of the helical piles, which I gather are quite common near water. So we got Breslin Construction to the engineering firm was out of Elton, Maryland. And then we had Breslin Construction, Mike Parody there. It was great. Look at the pile plan done by the engineer. Started to be, there were like 57 that were moved. Quite awesome. And then we had the survey done by Pelsa, and they staked out the property. But as I understand it, the staking was misinterpreted by Revo and Patrick. And so the staking was placed, they should have put the piles 5 feet in or something, but they put it.
Maybe I should.
The pickup.
First of all, I should just say thank you very much.
Yes,
for
thank you so much.
taking your evening time to come. We'll try to be fast as I know these days. The lot has old bad fill or something. We don't know what the origin of it is. Our 40-foot wide segment of the Strand has it, and neither lot on either side has it. It's weird. I'm meeting with Mike Connolly to go over some of the Historical Society old maps and photographs to try to figure out what happened and when. That's more out of curiosity, but the upshot is that the soil is bad. In order to support the regular concrete foundations that go down below the frost line, we are having to put in, as Kathy said, 57, it's the original count, steel helical piles. And they, where the, it's technically sound and it can be done right next to the adjacent buildings, not an adjacent houses, not a problem. There was confusion between the surveyor, Elsa, who laid out what are called layoff. It's a layoff staking. This right here. It's a diagram which he only provided to the contractor and me after the difficulty that I'm about to describe was figured out.
Question, definition of a layoff as he used it.
Is a stake which is not at the precise corner of the house, but a given distance away. And in fact, a given distance from not just the overall house, but the major mass of the house. So there are two issues. One is that there, as we found out, there can be things outside the layoff distance that are part of the house, they're just considered secondary massing. In a career having my own firm since 1976, I have never encountered this. Rigo Flores has had a long time business. He did not recognize this situation. So Elsa came out within 4 stakes. We assumed that the back line closest to the stakes closest to the water was in fact the end of the last mast towards the river, which is a 3-season room. Its length is 15 feet 4 inches, which is on all the plans. The layoff stakes were 10 feet, which meant that you subtract the 15.4, or subtract the 10-foot layoff stake from the 15.4, and the upshot is that we started 5 feet 4 inches closer to the street than we should have. So they began doing the pilings, which of the probably 45 that got put in, between 12 and 28 feet deep. Amazing. As we got closer to the street, the guys who were working 2 or 3 layers ahead, the things are at about 6-foot intervals, said, "We're getting damn close to the sidewalk. Something's wrong here." So they called me. I went over, we figured out what the distances were. And I then went back and called Mike at Elsa, and he then sent me the diagram that you have passing along. Yes, that's the first time I've seen it, the first time Rigo's seen it, the first time that Mike Parody from the Wrestling Contracting had seen this kind of thing. So the upshot was that it's not practicable either in terms of the soil or the technology or the cost to take out the piles and start all over again. So what I've done is figured out a way to shorten the house by that 5 feet 4 inches so that it fits into the lot. So I've subtracted 2 feet from the front porch depth. It's still a plenty usable front porch. I've taken 3 feet 4 inches out of the upstairs first and second floor rooms immediately inside the front facade. The rooms are smaller, but they're still serviceable. The upshot is that everything is compacted 5 feet 4 inches. The materials are all the same. The roof pitch is slightly steeper because I hit the same roof height. One window had to be moved, but it's the same number of windows and doors. Other than that subtraction of 3 feet 4 from the main brick body of the building and the 2 feet from the front porch, it's the same design. And what we're hoping that you can do is give the approval to do this change from the approved hack design. You've seen, I've paired up the before and after the 5 foot 4 inch subtraction, and I think I've got all the dimensions right. There are before and after model shots from all sides. The 5 that I sent this morning represent a 360-degree circuit around the proposed house. The upshot is that we're not trying to sneak anything by. It's a smaller house. It's believe me, not substantially cheaper. And we would like to think that it's appropriate to issue an amendment or whatever the formal name for the okay is to go ahead and get things started up again with the pilings, and then the contractor hopefully can come in and do the regular concrete foundation. So that's what we're hoping to discuss with you tonight.
If I recap the big picture, everything is moving towards the street, so the porch, same height, it just becomes shallower
That's
by
correct.
the number of feet.
Yeah,
Then on the first floor where you used to have the window for the bathroom, since the elevator shaft is moving, that window's gone.
we've scooted around to the front. So it's the same number of windows. On the lower floor, there are now 4 windows across the front instead of 3. But it's the same window.
Oh, that's where we had the blank at one point. That's where we had,
No, the blank was on the second floor.
okay.
That was not, the blank was a slightly recessed area. This is, it's on the front porch, so that the bathroom area now looks out into the front porch area.
Yeah, well, then, if before there was no window, that was also,
That was just a brick surface.
Yeah, that was a big service. So that now is 4, and it matches the 4 that we have above, correct? I mean, they don't.
That's right. It's 4 and 4 on both.
And then on the second floor, you used to have a window, and that window has just shifted over
That's.
on the side elevations.
Yes,
We've got rid of the elevators.
well.
Well, the shaft is still there,
The
but,
shaft is still there. We may not be able to afford an elevator.
okay,
Not after the files.
okay. But yeah, so the shaft is there, it's just moved by whatever feet, and then that window has.
Yeah, that,
What
the
used to be the
shaft is
bathroom
moved,
is-
the shaft is moved 3, 4.
Okay, and then the window is now 3 feet 4, so it's closer to the corner on the
Yes.
side.
So you keep the elevator shaft where it is, just with perhaps the plan of adding an elevator.
You're gonna
Eventually.
Hopefully, but
closet.
we're gonna turn it into closets.
Scooting over.
Okay,
Yeah, everything is scooting. And so that was, and then the other thing you did mention in passing, you said because you were tightening it, you had more of a slope, but the ridge line is not changing.
Ridge line is the same height.
Okay, and then wherever the dormer, that's also gonna be sort of the same, or maybe that's.
It's the same relationship. Yes, exactly.
It's just gonna be a bit lower, I guess, if you're having to have the slope, it's a little bit, you said.
Yeah, yeah, because the rear elevation is such forward, there's a slightly steeper pitch on the dormer too.
Okay,
It's,
but ridge, everything visible from the public right of way hasn't changed. I just want to make sure that was clear.
that's correct.
Did the measurements of the height of the roof change? Because I was
No.
looking back at the old materials and it seemed like it was off by maybe like a half an inch or something.
I'm sorry, there have been so many versions of this, I can't, it has been, this is the same height, I believe, as the ridge line, that was approved. And it's below the 35 feet, that's.
It's amazing that such things could happen.
Oh, I mean, it's like one thing dominoed out.
It's like the project is snake bit.
How much does each pile cost?
This is already cost.
They're between
45,000
$500 and $1,500 each.
It'll be up just 65,000.
Jeff, do you have any comments from,
And you know.
You'd never see the difference, I don't think, if he just built what he was gonna build.
I
don't
appreciate
think
him coming in
anyone
advance rather than wait until the hack police. Come.
Well, it would have been, if we built the original plan, we would have been 5 feet 4 inches out into the sidewalk, which would probably have been something.
Someone else would have noticed.
That's an intrusion on public space, as they. We have
Yeah, they
to,
let you put the stairs out, that's just the whole front.
that's right, both the front of the house and the stairs are exactly where they were before. It's a jigsaw puzzle.
And what is the fences that are like the little gates that are coming out into the street on the one?
Oh, I, at the very, oh, those are, that was a model in progress. I still had not shortened the railings on the, those are the railings on the side of the porch. So those are in progress. The later computers that I brought along, they show those shortened from, 8 feet to 6 feet.
Yeah, they're just floating there. I figured those weren't part of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They're-
Yeah,
They're fine.
I didn't either, but Just wanted to make sure.
But it's always good to verify.
Spare parts.
So,
I'm not sure if you were doing a bike rack there or something.
yeah, well, that's where my head
That's a
was.
sensitive topic, I gather.
So just to confirm, does this say, 34 and 5 3/4?
Which,
is the roof
which
height?
sheet are you on?
This is,
Yes,
are they
two.
numbered?
The ridge line height is 34 feet, 5 3/4 inches, which is, as I said, below the 35 foot. Wow.
But it's slightly different than the other models. I don't know if that matters, Leila. Cause I did I pulled up the old ones, the old agendas, the packets.
Okay, so I think I thought we had the before here too and the after. Normally it should not have been any change, saying there was no change, there should be, I do know that at one point, the only change that had been done was that the dormer that was supposed to start slightly lower actually starts at the ridge line because of issues that had been pointed out by the structural engineer.
Yes,
And so
that
it-
was exactly, it was a structural engineer, and it's actually a flashing detail where the standing seam roof hits the ridge.
Yeah, I
If you
think
try, it's tough to explain, but it's structurally illogical. It's a better detail that comes slightly below the.
So
ridge
some
line.
roof shows it. So still like a layer or two of roofing shows.
No, it'll
Yeah,
be-
well.
It won't be like, if this is the ridge.
Yeah.
It originally was like a few inches lower,
Okay.
now it's actually the
Gotcha.
spring
I think
point is
it's
gonna be
like
at
4
Gotcha.
inches, but the
Gotcha.
structural engineer.
It's,
Yeah.
you want the dormer to lean against the ridge, 2x member that's up there at the top. So
It's supportive, yeah.
it's
I think it was
better
better either if it's more expressed, because then you have a clear flashing, or if it's a few inches that become like it's neither fish nor fowl. But look at that.
Well, we have homeowners here who seem to have a problem due to unforeseeable mistakes that never happen, and they're doing their best to remedy,
Let's,
consistent with, what we love about the town. So I'm disposed to be
I-
agreeable to the request.
I think the other thing is, I mean, this is a human error. If one were to be in a different context, like a larger project, one would say, okay, redo because this is not the way, but we also understand that takes a long time to do, and adjusting on your end, reducing the depth, but not affecting the primary elements of design
Yeah.
is fine in this term. If you really want the square footage, obviously whoever did it, it would be on them to say, hey, you misunderstood, not our problem. But that also has a cost in terms of time and complication and discussions, so. The important part for me is all the alignments are the same. Nothing changes the approved alignment, and any reduction in depth is taken within the building, not without.
Exactly.
And the windows wind up still having a nice balance on the front elevation, and the additional window on the side will not be much of an issue. It'll be in the brick wall above, and that should be okay.
Arguably, it's even a better balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're
We're
building
kind
that
of
gap.
glad because, it's better, it's compactor, we don't mind, we can live with a smaller house.
In 100 years, no one will remember
No,
that it was
exactly, it's
65
such a
feet.
minor thing, as long as as you say, the integrity of the rooms within, all
Yeah.
are still there.
There's nothing about this that seems
No.
problematic to
I
me.
agree.
Are there any?
I just want to make sure, because we've had issues with Ridgeline before recently, is that it is a difference from the previous application that we approved in the height. I mean, I understand when you say it's going to be flush, but as far as numbers, because you give that to your builder and you say build the Ridgeline. But
But then these are the construction documents.
So in the previous packets that were presented, it was listed at 34 feet and 3.5 inches. And currently,
So this is 5 3/4, so it
Yes.
is,
An inch and a half.
1.5, 2 1/4 inches higher.
and
And that had to be modified at one point because there was also modification when I went to the structural engineer for review and they came back and asked for some modifications, which are reasonable and still remain below the envelope.
okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah, yeah,
sure
no,
we
that should
had
be for the
that,
record. Yeah, that had been
Yeah.
discussed. They had done some adjustments.
Variance.
because
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why, that's why this is being reviewed here, not as a tier one, because Lisa's excellent point. They've been things in the field that have not represented what was approved in the meeting. On the document.
Who knew that a half acre could be so complicated? We had 5 acres in Connecticut and it was a cakewalk.
We had 7 acres in Connecticut in the 1799 house.
sounds lovely.
It does.
Yeah,
Does sound
and
lovely.
water and,
That comes at a cost. That
Oh,
proximity in that.
yeah, well, it's a staggering cost. But anyway,
Who knows what's been.
we couldn't, if we were to sell the lot at this point, which we might think about, we would have to disclose the soil conditions and we figured, well, we might as well just
And the
build.
pilings are already down there.
I know, it's like a cost,
They
it's like not
screw
just like
them in.
financial cost, but just.
28 feet.
Compromises
is the
made.
biggest one. And that's from below the frost line. So they're,
And what's so
What's
puzzling
bedrock
about
around
this is
here, Jeff?
why the people next to us, 4 feet away, are okay.
Don't have the same issue.
It's just, I don't know.
That's really strange,
Just a
yeah.
very strange situation. We have a friend, preservation architect in Connecticut who said, I remember once telling me years and years ago that back then they had things called middens, which were basically dumps,
Yeah.
town dumps, and maybe it was a
Oh, yeah.
dump.
Yeah.
In other areas, they would have archaeological studies done if you're in sensitive areas to find what has been put in those bins
Yeah.
over the years.
yeah,
Like when you
another
explore them.
possibility is that it was a stream outlet.
Mhm.
That's why I'd like to see what the history,
Absolutely.
Mike has been very helpful.
Well, thanks for staying with it.
Well, thank you for repeatedly seeing us. It's been more than we bargained for, but I'm hoping along it'll be.
We frame a motion.
The only thing, before we do that is I do have a letter to read into the record. This is from Bill Gross at 1301 13th Street. And it says, "Good evening, Historic Area Commissioners. Regarding number 1, under old business, I am strongly in favor of the revisions that are being submitted at tonight's meeting regarding the home that's being built at 105 The Strand. The revisions are within the guidelines of PAC. I also feel that by accepting these changes, it will allow Patrick Pinnell and Kathleen Curran to move ahead with their project. I can already tell that their home will be a fine addition to the Strand as well as our city's makeup. Thank you in advance for your commitment to continuing to keep our city's charm alive by accepting the submitted changes. I wish everyone present a very happy, healthy, and safe holiday season and an awesome 2025. Respectfully submitted, Philip Gross."
No, oh, no.
You have no idea.
And he comments about everything.
Oh, I think I know, see.
They're often not quite so cheery.
No.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so, with that, if there are no other comments or concerns, would someone like to put forward a motion?
I put forward a motion to approve as described and documented.
Approve the revised plans, in terms of scale, massing, design,
I would just say in terms of reduction of the overall depth.
in terms of reduction of the overall depth of the building. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Well, that's for
I'm
this.
sorry.
Indian medicine and
I'm glad,
But, you know, we're trying to be positive. Yeah, how late do you, can we lay a foundation? I mean,
They're around here, it's an hour.
we never stop.
Tara, we need a motion to adjourn.
oh, that would also be, helpful. Would
Motion,
someone like to put forward a motion to adjourn?
put forward a motion to adjourn the
I
meeting.
second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Meeting
Merry
adjourned.
Christmas, happy Hanukkah.
No, I know.
Thank
you
you
got
so
the-
much.
Bobby, what? Thank you.
There.
Sorry for keeping me,